So continuing the yard tour, we saw the young chickens all lined up, and the older ones are down here on the ground waiting for something to eat. And we have Shadow waiting for something to open up for him. And here's the new planting area Ian is working on, where he's building a sort of arbor, and he'll be having a greenhouse of sorts in the winter. And so a couple of things in bloom right now. We have the Rose of Sharon. So this whole area here had been full of Rose of Sharon for many years, and Ian cut down the density. You could see across the street. You know, this is just a yard in Brooklyn, and he thinned things out. He wants to plant fruit trees here, and so Shadow and I are going to continue our walk along the yard. And what I had hoped to do, well, here, let's show you what we got here. Here's a Cleveland pear tree. Now, unfortunately, it has rust on the leaves, and we're going to have to figure out how to stop that from happening. It seems to be there's something we can do in the early spring, but we didn't realize that. It's a nice old bike we've got in the yard here. And so I had hoped to build a fence out of sticks, but a lot of them fell out, so we're going to work on the construction of that so that it's a good use of old wood, you know, branches and things that otherwise would go into a landfill. And right next door, that's the apartment building that was put up a couple of years ago, and unfortunately they pulled down one of the trees that had been in the backyard. It used to be a car wash, but you know, this is an urban setting here. You can see, you know, we're not far from Nostrand Avenue. There's a bus going down the street there. So this is truly an urban farm. Yes, in my backyard. And some of the interesting little things we found and put in the yard. And so here's another view. There's the arbor, the chicken house. You can see Ian has built a second level on the chicken house under the mulberry tree, and he's hoping that will be a good way for people to climb up there in the future and plant, pick the mulberries when they bloom in June, late June, July. The whole ground, as you've probably seen with mulberries, gets carpeted. And so Shadow, hi Shadow. Shadow and I will continue around the yard and see some of the discarded things we found that we put up. Sort of decorative fencing between our house and the property next door. Obviously we can't completely shut each other out, but thought something that was a little visually interesting and makes use of things we find on the street, discarded things. So now here we are on the other side of the sunflowers, and a very dense path here through the bricks. I think I'm actually going to walk around the other way. But here are some interesting metal objects, discarded objects that we have found, and put them over here in the yard. And I think the yard could use a little trimming. And I'm going to walk around back by the chickens. A nice sunflower there, and our happy chickens, or hungry chickens, whichever way you look at it, who are clearly waiting to be fed. And so that's it for, well, one more thing. This is a sunflower that hasn't come out yet. And so that's our rainy day yard tour here at YIMBY Farm.